Pisces. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another energy reading. God bless you guys. I feel like you guys always have to wait. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for um, tuning in and, being here, knowing that whenever the messages do come, that they, oops, there we go. Whenever the, oh, that felt like money. Oh, okay. I don't know why, but okay, thank you. That's a good sign for you guys. So whenever the messages do come, that they are right on time. And again, I encourage you to check, whoopsies, I encourage you to check all of the other messages as well, because the other signs as well, because you guys know these are just energies and they're collective readings. I do want to look at this Six of Pentacles, and I just say that felt like money. And look at this contract here. I'm kind of getting the idea that there's something, hold on. There's something going on here as I'm feeling in the collective. A lot of you definitely parting ways. Look at that. Boop. Parting ways. And it's not funny because when I looked up, it was 1 minute, 1 second, 0101. Even though I said parting ways, we still see the 0101, that alignment. So this is giving me the idea here for you that if this message is for you, chances are that you are at a time and space. I'm using my words very, they're saying correctly. Thank you. I was going to say using it very specifically, right? You're at a time and space where you're being asked to make corrections to something that you've been doing. And I've been getting the same messages too for myself as well, not only for my personal life, but also for my work that I do here. We're always growing and we're always evolving, and I think that in this day and age, because we have such a habit, we as people have such a habit, and this is conditioned by the way, of relying on others outside of us to show us how things are done and why things are done and for whom they're done and in what manner that they're done. All of this, that we fall into traps of, very simply, like consistency, right? Always thinking that everything 2 minutes 22 seconds has to be in a consistent manner in a certain way. And maybe some of you guys can relate to this in your personal lives. And and for me, I'm speaking, for example, in terms of doing my readings and such. But, when you start to tune into what is for you and who you are and what is coming through from the divine, you start to understand that there is a certain level of consistency. But sometimes that consistency it's not visible at the level that you are. So, for example, for us, we clearly can track the cycles of the earth, the seasons of the earth, in terms of cycles, right? So it's like, we can kind of think of certain places as having 4 major seasons, or depending on where you are, right? 4 major seasons. You can track it because from our level of perspective, we can see that. But then when it comes to things like, quote unquote, the heating and cooling of the planet, we struggle, right? And let's just say, wow, thank you that we have tools to even be able to get a macroscopic view of what that cycle could possibly be. But even then, with all the tools that we have, there's so much dissension, right? So, but of course, if we were able to zoom out even more and looking at a wider span of time, looking at different dimensions, all sorts of things, all sorts of factors that play into what we would view as the seasons, or excuse me, as the heating and cooling of the planet, for example, if we could see all of the factors interdimensionally that are truly going into that, we would have a different idea of what the cycles are, and then we will see consistency. But again, going back to the main point, sometimes you're not able to see it from the level of I was going to say level of perspective, but they're throwing in the word level of experience. Sometimes the consistency is there, or even the things are there, but your level of experience precludes you from being able to see that. And we see this a lot when we, for example, compare, not that we should ever compare, but because God could use the novice as well as the master to deliver the same message to people. So this is, sometimes it's just allowing yourself to be moved to do as you need. But there is there is a difference when you can recognize something based on sometimes your experience. There are things that a master can notice that a novice would not, because they don't have the framework yet installed. And and from that note, let's get back to the reading, although this is all the reading, but please understand what Spirit is saying when they say these things. The minute I press the play button, it's all for somebody and all for everybody. So there's something there. But what I'm seeing here is, there's a splitting of the ways right now. Even it's, and I'm seeing that it's interesting. This splitting of the ways could literally be about you moving away from a person, of course, duh. But this could very, very, very just as easily be, like I said, you redefining something in your life, or even your self. I'm getting for somebody the word midwife, so that's for somebody. That's for someone very specific, but it's just all about taking a new perspective. And they're showing me the broom here. They're showing me also you at leisure here. So let's explore this idea of taking a separation. It's not energetically, the dynamic reads as a separation, but we can think of it as a refinement. And this is a shift. The shift has already occurred for some of you. I just felt like a grief lump come into my throat for a second, as I felt that some of you, the shift is still kind of going on, or it's coming in. And I do feel for someone, God bless you, it has to do with marriage. And that's I feel like someone was like, that's it, I got it. Somebody is really contemplating divorce. I want to put that out there. And again, you need to make your own decisions and stuff, but I'm in your collective field, so I'm picking up on these different things. And for someone there, I feel that you needed to hear that example brought to the forefront here. So but again, this is about refining and redefining. But remember, it all starts with your own evolution. Evolution has occurred. Some form of spiritual change and shift has occurred for you. All of us, is what I'm saying, has occurred for us collectively. And so when we have a movement in the non-physical, you best believe it, we're going to have movement and shifting and rejostling or recalibrating, rebooting, whatever you want to say, made manifest in the non-physical. And in fact, that's always what's happening. Anything that manifests in the physical has already occurred in the non-physical. Remember, just because you cannot perceive of that movement and that shift does not mean that it originates in the physical. Nothing, my friends, originates. Just trust me. Nothing originates in the physical, on the physical plane. It is all manifested and comes to pass from the solidification of matter and molecules and all of that stuff, and atoms and all that stuff, that are made solid by your direction of energy. Now, how do you direct the energy? You believe it, or you don't. You put your attention to it, or you don't, right? And so that's why it's very, very important, as the guides always say, that, you have to be mindful of what you are funneling your belief and your energy and your attention and all of that into. And simply just thinking about it, you're funneling things in. Now, that's why it's very, very important to do your shadow work. And of course, we always do that here on my channel, with me personally, personal readings. But you can also sit down with your journal and your spirit team, get that ball rolling. You can also work with other people who can assist you in that way, right? But the whole point is you have to go inward to become more aware of what it is that you're actually believing, what it is that you're actually doing. And that runs very, very deeply. I do have to admit, it runs very, very deeply. A quick example, by you watching, let's say, for example, even having the idea of needing to stay abreast of anything means that on some level you have a belief that something about your constitution or your situation is changeable, that something is amiss, right? So it runs very, very, very deep. And then we have to think about, well, well, we look around and things are changing and things are imperfect and I'm not perfect, but yet God says I'm perfect. Yeah, because always remember the way that these kinds of paradoxes are mitigated is by understanding that it's all about what level of the field you're perceiving it from. When we go way up high, there's no need for anything like therapists and light workers and star seeds and clergy and all of this. There's no problem. There's nothing amiss. There's nothing wrong, right? There's no time. That's very, very high up in the field. Only love is real. There's no illusion. But when you're down here, way down here in duality and in physicality, we're all so warped in our beliefs that we even perceive of this as solid, right? And we perceive of the physical world as being the original blueprint. So just to show you how much in beliefs we have tumbled a bit. So that's why it's very important to get into your shadow work, because that will really, really assist you in understanding what's going on the inside, so that you can become more aware of why you're experiencing the world that you're experiencing. And we understand this concept. If you struggle to understand that concept of needing to go inside to get an idea of the outside, just saunter into your friendly local licensed therapist and they will show you how just talking to you for 15 minutes, they'll show you how you got completely a lot of blind spaces in your life, a lot of blind spots in your life and in your awareness. It's called cognitive dissonance, right? And there are many reasons for these. But anyway, I feel like this is a little bit of stream of consciousness, but I also know that it's not, because I'm feeling someone's energy in particular who I actually know, but I can feel that a lot of your energies need to hear whatever messages are coming through. Another thing I want to let you guys know is I want to encourage you in taking this step into what for some of you may feel is uncomfortable or unknown, or this is an adjustment. Remember, it's already happened. You're just now allowing it to come through. And that's why we see this person representing you just straight chilling, right? And look at the broom here, and the broom, it's on the floor. The change has already occurred. Now it's time for you to allow what needs to come through and be made manifest. And sometimes that can be a little bit daunting, because some of us are busybodies where we're like, well, what do I do now? And me in particular, I'm always doing something, whether it's over worrying or overworking or whatever. And it's been really tough because as much as oh my God, I would love to post every day and I would love to just do this, and I have so many ideas, but the guidance I keep getting is slow down, pause. It's so interesting. I had a lovely session with an acupuncturist the other day. Shout out to one of my viewers, you know who you are, who suggested it. And ding, I forgot to update you. Yes, very, very good. And the first thing he said was like, you have too much yang energy. You need to bring in yin energy. You literally need to sit and do nothing. And that can be very hard, because we sometimes have, again, beliefs, programming, core misbeliefs around what we deem to be quote unquote productive, quote unquote effective, quote unquote efficient, and these are the things that we over-identify with. And I think a lot of people in the US as well, but around the world, in certain parts of the world, over-identify with what they consider their usefulness to be. And we're only useful when we're doing or we're producing, right? And that's so interesting. A message that's been coming through for a lot of us recently is this idea of needing to understand that when we say that the Creator loves us unconditionally, that and only love is real, that means it doesn't mean what you think it means. For example, you think that it means blah, blah, blah. And then if you really stop and look at it, you'll notice that you have a condition attached to it. Think about, who are you if you're not someone's mom, if you're not someone's parent, you're not someone's spouse, you don't have this job, you're not this figure, I'm not this person who helps people. If we don't have any identity at all, who are you then? You may be at a loss to know what your utility is. You may find yourself asking, what's my function? So reflect upon that. Who are you? Maybe you're just enough.